What's up, Trek Nation? Welcome back to After the Snap. It's me, Tasha Pierce, coming at you to discuss Star Trek Picard for the last time. Picard Season 3, Episode 10 is the series finale. It's entitled The Last Generation, and it goes a little something like this. In a desperate last stand, Jean-Luc Picard and generations of crews, both old and new, fight together to save the galaxy from the greatest threat they've ever faced. If you haven't watched The Last Generation, I'm gonna need you to get your entire life together. No, really, you want to watch it yourself if possible. This is your spoiler warning. Everybody else, let's go. Last week ended with us hopping on the Big D for one last ride. We had an opportunity to marvel at her beauty. Now it's time to take her to the fight. The Enterprise crew has located the Borg cube hiding in the gases of Jupiter. Now, in case you forgot, Jack is all Borged out on the cube and is controlling the young Starfleet officers who have been infected with Borg DNA from the body formerly known as Picard. We learn that the son of USS Enterprise ace Pavel Chekhov, President Anton Chekhov, voiced by Walter Koenig, named for Anton Yelchin, was apparently briefed by someone about what's happening on the ships. And he's warned everyone to stay away from Earth because we obviously don't need help. That means it's entirely up to the Enterprise D to save the day, and fortunately, this crew is always ready to tussle. There were a few things that had to happen during this field trip to the Borg cube. Whether you want to admit it or not, the Borg fight was entirely predictable. We knew Picard was going to end up on that cube, and that Worf and Riker weren't going to let him go alone. We knew everyone was going to get their moment in the sun, so to speak. They wouldn't bring the D out of Hangar Bay 12 just to destroy her, so we knew she was surviving the fight. Now, if you follow me regularly, you know I thought love would win the day, so I wasn't surprised there either. The wild cards were the how. How would we get to all those foregone conclusions? And honestly, that is what was masterfully done. I didn't think this finale was without its flaws, but it worked in all of the ways that mattered in what was promised to be an epic send-off for these characters. We had stuff to make us laugh and stuff to make us cry. Now, there was some suspense about whether the entire TNG crew would make it out alive. We saw Beverly be a badass at tactical and Deanna pilot the ship without crashing to rescue her Imzadi. Geordi was in command with an emotional Data at the helm. Worf continued to fight with honor all the way up to the end. And Riker was as loyal as ever to Picard. And Picard. He first courageously attempted to unhook the Borg apparatuses from his son, but when he realized it would leave Jack impaired, he plugged himself back into the collective. He made his impassioned plea for Jack to come back to him and his mother. And when that didn't seem to work, Picard said he would stay with Jack until the end, which was going to be real soon. This act of selflessness woke Jack up. Or maybe he was like, wait a minute, what you mean Ian? Either way, Jack unhooks his dad and Deanna swoops in to rescue the away team. In the mean and in between, Seven and Raffi form a ragtag crew of middle-aged crewmen, including Dr. Oak, who I forgot was even on the ship, a cook, which is perplexing to me. Like, why do we even need a real cook? But anywho, there were a couple of more old folks with them. This was the crew that outsmarted all the Borg drone / Young Titan crew by somehow creating some portable transporters. And when they shot the Borgified youngins, it sent them to a transporter room. Yeah, I'm also wondering why they weren't sent to the brig, but we gotta go where the story takes us. Anywho, Seven and crew retake the bridge, and Raffi noticed there was a rogue ship heading away from the fleet, nearing a Borg cube. Registry number. Really, Raffi? This is the most famous ship in the history of Starfleet, and you're acting as if you don't know her name. Even the cook knows the big D, Raffi. That's all Seven needed to hear. She filled in a lot of blanks with very little context and just knew the Titan had to run interference with Picard. They utilized the cloak. Remember that? The cloak? So they utilized the cloak so they can move around the automated fleet, which uses a line-of-sight method of control. If they can't be seen, they can't be controlled. The plan was to scramble the shields of the fleet and then decloak to fire on them. So they're going to do this as long as they could, even though it would pretty much mean sacrificing themselves to give the D a fighting chance. And when a crewman questioned her plan, Seven gives her first "We Are Starfleet" captain speech, and it worked. This crew was now ready to lay down their lives for the greater good, except the Borg babies have now escaped the transporter room, and the Borg girls are currently destroying the cloaking device, and now they're all walking dead like heading to the bridge. So yeah, things aren't looking up for the AARP crew of the Titan. And just as the Borg babies make it to the bridge, phase is drawn, ready to blast their former friends, they transform back into their regular Starfleet selves, indicating that Picard and the D successfully handled the Borg Queen and the cube she rode in here on. All of that took about 35 minutes. The final 25 minutes were all fan service. I mean, after they quickly explained how we got rid of the Borg DNA and the changeling issue. And when I say quickly, I mean like 1 or 2 lines from Riker's captain log. Needless to say, we never learned how the changelings and the Borg linked up anyway. Is there an I Hate Starfleet Reddit forum or something? The world will never know. And we see everyone getting on with life, including Seven. She's sitting at a judicial review administered by Tuvok, which would be a huge conflict of interest if it were a real review. And when it seems like he's going to discipline her, Seven says, "I'll resign." That's when Tuvok pulls out her hollow review, prepared by Captain Shaw just before all this mayhem began. And this review did what the prior few episodes couldn't. It made me like Shaw. Mind you, my opinion of Shaw was spot on. He was timid, gun-shy, a stickler for the safety of the rules and doing things by the book, but he was also aware of all those things. And he admired Seven for knowing when a little chaos was necessary. Knowing that he realized those qualities were going to hold him back as a captain redeemed the character for me. I wish they gave him time to grow as a person who could learn to take calculated risks. And I'm sure if we get a follow-up series, there's still a chance that could happen. Did I mention Seven got promoted? Yeah, they promoted her to captain. So who better to deliver the news and deny her resignation than her good friend Tuvok? Troy and Admiral Riker are going on an exotic vacation to Orlando. Data is still coming to terms with his newfound humanity, becoming a real boy. Geordi is still at the Fleet Museum taking care of the D. Worf is a self-help guru. Picard stood Laris up. Admiral Crusher is the head of Starfleet Medical Branch. Raffi reunites with her family with a little bit of help from Worf. And Jack is now an ensign in Starfleet. Now we see him a year later heading to his first posting on board what used to be the Titan, but has now been rechristened in tribute to Admiral Picard. The USS, no, not Picard, which would have been perfect, but the Enterprise G. So yeah, Jack was fast-tracked through Starfleet Academy and is now on the G with Captain Seven, First Officer Raffi, and the rest of the Titan bridge crew. This is the setup for a spin-off from Terry Matalas called Star Trek Legacy, which was an ambitious addition to this finale because it hasn't been greenlit by Paramount yet. But I'm sure it'll be fine if that doesn't happen. What could possibly go wrong? The series closes with Picard proposing a toast straight out of Julius Caesar before pulling out a deck of cards for a game of poker among friends. Now when Picard wins, he says, "I've come to believe that the stars have always been in my favor." But wait, there's more. A mid-credit scene shows Jack getting set up in his new digs aboard the Enterprise G when a familiar voice says, "Well, look at you, a chip off the old block." Jack grabs his phaser and spins face to face with the recently deceased Q. Q is there to tell young Picard that his father's trial was over, but Jack's had just begun. So, I enjoyed this series finale, even though there were a few questions left unanswered. I hope we do get the Legacy series, but let me again state that I want to see original stories with a little nostalgia now and then. If the entire show is carried by shit from the past, I'll probably not be very enthused by it. It's enough to know that we'll be aboard the Enterprise and be tormented by Q. I need some unexpected shit. As far as a rating, I'll give this one my second 5 of the season. Now, if you want to discuss this episode even deeper, join us for our live stream on Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Central when we'll do just that. Hell, I might even open the floor, give a few people a chance to give their 5-minute evaluation of the episode and the series. So I hope to see you all there. Now, if you enjoyed this review, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and turn those notifications to the on position so you won't miss an upload or a live stream. If you'd like to help me continue to create content or update my setup, slide me a super thanks or become a member, like these Borg babies.
It's been an honor serving with you all.
Thanks so much for hanging with me for the final season of Star Trek Picard. I enjoyed recapping with you guys. I'll keep the content coming as we await the season 2 premiere of Star Trek Strange New Worlds on June 15th. Until next time, live long and prosper. Peace.